Hiya. Obviously, it's Susan here again. Thanks very much for tuning in. It's nearly 7:30 on the 29th of November 2024, and obviously that's UK time. 7:30 in the evening, because I've got my lights on. Should be quite obvious. This is really going to be a quickie. I know I say that every time, but this is going to be a quickie. Um, Something that was mentioned this morning, and then a communication I had with a friend has brought this to mind. And first thing is, I was watching, I don't know whether you watch him or not, but Craig Houston, who does a 10-minute moan every morning, he's quite droll. I wouldn't say he's hard work, that wouldn't be fair, but he is quite dour, as we would say in Scotland. And he is a Scot, so he'll understand what I mean. But the important thing was that he was referring to Isobel Oakeshott's new releases. She's got a website and YouTube or whatever, and she's releasing some of the scam information. How we were scammed back in 2020, and now obviously, folk like a lot of people don't need it. And it does make me wonder if the folk who do need it will ever research it or come across it. And that's almost my concern. But if it is beginning to reach more people out there, and what worries me, and this is where I was communicating with a friend, and this occurred to me. We know that the Southport stabbings and the riots that occurred after that, the whole thing was manipulated. Um, Agitators were sent in. There was a rolling program of riots. It was very well coordinated. The information about um, the perpetrator of the crime wasn't released, and then it was released, and it allowed all sorts. So I've done a previous video on that, and you can go back and have a look at that if you want more detail. There was actually a follow on from that as well, because anyway. What occurred to me was that the connection I made between these two things was that because the Southport stabbings caused, or riots were manipulated due to this incident, it allowed further what's the word, uh, sorry about this. I'm on a flow, and then I forget a word, and the whole thing goes to pot. But it allowed the government to come down heavier on the folk that were rioting. And I mean, we've actually seen a case where a boy of 13 kicked in a door, and he was lifted and sent to prison. Meanwhile, of course, we're letting out rapists and murderers and, well, maybe not quite that bad, but other real, what I would call real criminals. We're letting them out early, make room for all these new criminals that are having to be put away. Anyway, so all of these riots allowed the government to allow the police to become really heavy, and to bring in new rules about rioting and so on and so forth. The point I'm trying to get to, see, there's no way I can make a short one of these, but the point I'm trying to get to is that was this just a practice run? Because if people like Isobel Oakeshott and the like are reaching a wider audience, and there's more information coming out about children being vaccinated, got higher chance of heart defects and so on. And as this information is seeping out at the moment at a fair rate compared to the last 3 years, are folk going to get angry about this? Because now it's not just a matter of rioting because of illegal immigrants that they think are causing all these problems. It's now going to be their health, their children's health. The fact that they were lied to, that they were duped. I mean, look at the number of suicides there were over that time. It's horrendous. a lot of people lost loved ones unnecessarily, were kept away from old people in their last hours. So what I'm trying to say is that now that all of this information is coming out, people are going to be angry. Yes, I've said before that our job is to support them. But in the meantime, are they going to start riot? And the government, of course, have had their dry run with various other riots, enforcing further legislation, not law. We need to remember the difference between law and legislation, but enforcing other legislation, which the police, who don't know the difference between law and legislation, just go out and treat these people as criminals. And they're fighting for their lives. So, my last video was quite upbeat and apparently amusing. Um, if you haven't seen it, the one about trumping cows. But anyway, and now, of course, I'm all doom and despondency again, which I really don't like to have to do. I would like them to be upbeat if at all possible. But this is not upbeat because it just makes me wonder if again it was all planned and they're ready for it. So the important thing is to try and keep calm, don't incite it, don't add fuel to the fire, support these who are coming through it now and learning what's going on. And of course, as I always say, live, love, be happy. Thanks very much for watching, and I love all the comments that I'm getting, especially from new people. Thanks very much, folks.